Hi, I'm Adam Lane Smith, attachment specialist, and today I want to answer a question that I get all the time. People write in and say, Adam, I want a therapist, but I've been to therapists before and it just doesn't work. How can I find the right therapist for me? Now, they phrase this question differently. Sometimes it's how do I find a therapist who isn't crazy? How do I find a good therapist? How do I find a therapist that does X, whatever it might be? I've got a system, and I'm going to teach you that today. By the end of this video, you should know how to find a decent therapist for yourself, how to cut through the crap and get straight to somebody who is most likely going to be the best fit for you. Now, to start with, let's talk about how you hire a therapist. A lot of people imagine a therapist is just like a doctor. You're going to go in, it's a one-size-fits-all kind of situation. They just spit out the same old treatments. You go to the doctor, you have an infection, they give you penicillin, you go home, you take it. That's not how therapy works. Therapy has so many different kinds of schools. Even the field of psychology is divided. There's been almost fist fights over some different diagnoses, what goes into the book, what doesn't go into the book. I've got copies of 2 different versions of the DSM over here on my shelf. There's arguments over it. The field of psychology is not one unified field. We even argue over when medication is needed. And that is all playing in the background when you go get mental health, whether it's with a therapist, a psychologist, for assessments and testing, a psychiatrist, or registered nurse, often dispensing medications, or whatever nursing license they may have for that. There's all kinds of different situations. You even have, in some states where therapists are difficult to find, social workers doing therapy. There's all kinds of different situations you might be walking into. So if you just pick somebody at random in a clinic and go walking in, you may have a horrible experience. You could get lucky and get a great therapist on the first time because there are wonderful therapists out there. But what happened a lot when I would practice, when I had my license, before I retired, I had a lot of people come in and say, Adam, you're my 3rd or 4th or sometimes 5th therapist, and my hopes are not high, but let's see how this goes. By the end of the first hour, they could tell it was a good fit. But that first hour, a therapist is supposed to do what's called a diagnostic assessment, a DA. A lot of people get charged about $350 for one of these. Now, when your therapist does one, you're supposed to be able to take that DA and take it to any other therapist because an insurance company will only pay for about one per year. A lot of insurance companies, anyway. That's $350. So if let's just even say it's $300. 5 of them, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. 5 at $350, I think is $1,750. Check the math. I'm a therapist, not a mathematician. But that's about $1,750. Can you imagine paying $1,750 just to find a 5th therapist who works for you? That's what you're working on. And by the time you get there, a lot of people have given up. A lot of people have one therapist that they're willing to talk to. And if that doesn't work out, they're done. Because therapy doesn't work for them. Because again, we view it like a doctor. Therapy is not like a doctor. Therapy is more like a business consultant. It's a business consultant. Imagine you run a restaurant and your restaurant is not working the way you want it to work. That's your life. That's your life right now. You need somebody who knows the restaurant industry. You don't want to hire a contractor who works on roofing. You don't want to hire an accountant who has no idea about anything. You want somebody as closely aligned to the restaurant industry as possible. So you want to get a therapist who works for you. Someone else might get a therapist who works on, maybe they run a roofing company emotionally and they want to hire a roofer as a consultant. Maybe they do that, and that's a different type of therapist. You need to get the right therapist for you, the right consultant for you. The way you do that is this. You go on a website, whatever website is the best advertising one in your area. Now, in North America, that happens to be psychologytoday.com. I'm not sure about other continents and other nations, but in the United States at least, and I believe Canada, use psychologytoday.com. This is where most of us advertise. There's also other websites. You can do all kinds of things. You can even just Google therapists in your area. What you want to do is check therapists in your area, find their profiles, find their advertising, avoid people who use endless buzzwords, although they might just be bad at marketing. Look at therapist licenses. So a lot of time you'll, at least in most states, there's 3 primary licenses of people who practice therapy. One is the LPCC, so it's a licensed professional clinical counselor. They tend to take a one-on-one individual focus. They align pretty closely, not all of them, but they align pretty closely with the medical model of there's an issue, we need to treat that issue, you are the case, we're going to work on you. And that's great for a lot of pieces. There's the LMFT model, Licensed Marriage and Family Therapy, which is what I had. This is more systemic. I treated mostly individuals, but you look at the system. You say, this person, there's something wrong in your life. There's something wrong with your system. Let's fix your system. That will help you get better. And then there's the LCSW, licensed social worker, licensed clinical social worker. There we go. Now, in a lot of states where other therapists are hard to find, they'll have social workers step up and perform therapy, sometimes even in clinics. And if you don't know what license you're getting, you may not understand the approach you're getting. And that's difficult. If you are wanting to work one-on-one and have it be about you and what problems you can solve, an LPCC may be great. If you want to solve the problem in your system and you're having relationship issues, an LMFT might be better. Even though they're marriage and family therapy, they're focused on your system. That may be helpful. Sometimes if your problem is the problems in your life, the social problems in your life, the financial problems in your life, you might need a social worker. There might be different times that different licenses might be helpful for you. And there's others as well. There's other ways to get therapy. There's other licensures sometimes. And these are just in the United States. Check what the licensures in your area actually mean and look for one that you're actually going to want. That's the first step of advice. But you're going to be looking in your area or on psychologytoday.com by zip code. Find your top 10 or top 5 even. Find top 5 to top 10 people in your area that at least look decent when they're writing, when they're talking about things. They look decent to you. You don't get a bad gut feeling. Take those 5, get their emails, draft up an email. Hello, I am looking for therapy. Here is what I need in a therapist. You say, I have people all the time. I want a therapist who will counsel me from a Christian perspective because I don't want to talk about divorce. I want someone who will counsel me from a feminist perspective because all these different pieces. Whatever it might be, if you're looking for a left-handed vegan Buddhist therapist, whatever it is, put that in that list and say, these are what I'm looking for in a therapist. Here's the problem I'm facing. Very brief. Don't write 10 paragraphs. Say trauma. Say multiple traumas, ongoing anxieties, insecurity in relationships, attachment. You're watching me. A lot of people ask for attachment. I want to work on adult attachment. That's a great way to phrase that. I want to work on adult attachment. I have a book from this brilliant internet YouTube guy, whatever it might be. You put that in the list. And I don't wants. I don't want. Your list of don't wants. I don't want this. I'm not looking for this. And then you say, do you fit these requirements? If you do, I'd like to book a session with you. If you don't, could you please refer me to somebody who does? And it's an ethical, kind of a moral obligation for therapists to give you a good referral. They're not going to go to jail if they don't give you a referral, but it's in our best interest ethically and morally to give you a good referral. Now, all of us know that one weird therapist who sits in the corner mumbling to himself about whatever the topic might be. And we keep a Rolodex. That's for the young people. A Rolodex is what you used to have phone numbers on. That hurts me right now. We keep an ongoing Rolodex, a contact list in our head of people who do different things. So when you ask us, hey, I'm looking for somebody who does trauma and really intense trauma, and I want it fast, I want this and this, we say, oh, I know this EMDR therapist. And we say, here's a referral I'm going to make to this EMDR therapist. Really fast for trauma, very little talking, really super quick, great for PTSD. We all keep that running in our head. You do that, you email the top 5 to 10, and whoever emails you back, number 1, actually wants the business, so they'll be attentive. And then you pick. After you've done that, then you pick whoever emails you back and based on that. If you email 10 people and they all 10 email you back, you pick one. You pick the one you feel the best about. You pick the one who gives you the best response. You pick the one who writes back and says, hey, yeah, no problem. Here's my qualifications. Here's my trainings. I'm EMDR certified. I am emotion-focused couples therapy certified. I got an LMFT license so I can help you work on your systems. All kinds of focuses. If you can do that, that will give you the best angle on the consultant you're looking to hire. Then you go into that first session and you verify and say, okay, here's what I'm here for. I'd like this to be as directive as possible. A lot of therapists are trained to be very passive and just sit back and let you guide the session. Then you go in expecting them to guide the session. You're both just sitting there going, and then you pay $1,000 for the first couple months and you feel like you got nothing done. If you want it to be more directive, tell them, I really want this to be directive. I want you to just guide me and tell me what I need to be doing. Ask me questions and then tell me what I should do. And they'll say, oh, great. Yeah, that's fine. This is not rude. None of this process is rude. People are afraid that the therapist is going to say, oh, how dare you? No, Therapists love this. We love when you tell us what you're looking for, what you don't want. We love when it's a good fit because we don't want to waste our time either, because it sucks having a parade of people come in and out and in and out who are just not good fits. You feel like you've let them down. And you know that might be the only time they ever go to therapy because they'll say, oh, it didn't work. This is not rude. This is great. It's wonderful. Do this and your relationship with that therapist will flourish. And then maintain ongoing discussions with your therapist about the therapy. Hey, this session was great. Thanks for this. Hey, next time can we do this? Even if it's in the middle of the session, you could say, you know, we're talking about this thing over here with my friend, but I don't really care about that a whole lot. What I'd like to focus on is this. If you do that, that's how you get the best out of your money. That's how you do it. Therapists, a lot of times in a lot of schools and a lot of states, are trained to just sit there and listen to you and let you tell them what you want. If you're not looking for that, include that in your list of wants when you email them at the beginning. Say, I want really directive therapy. Not just tell me what to do, but I want someone who is really going to be right there coaching me and telling me what they feel and focusing on the things I should be doing. I want someone who doesn't sugarcoat it. Put that right in your email. Stop imagining you are hiring a doctor or going to see a doctor. Start focusing on hiring a consultant, the right consultant for you. That is how you pick a good therapist. And when you do that, that gets you so much closer to the right therapist for you. I hope that's been helpful. That's the best advice I have to give. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I hope that you have a good time finding a good therapist. Thank you. Until next time.